This is so embarrassing. Are you guys ready to hear a dumb Marvel Studios superfan moment? I always forget that this is the film that introduces us to Jeremy Renner as Clint Barton / Hawkeye. Kind of fitting I always forget because he only really has one scene here. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to yet another brand new movie review here on my channel, and as always, I thank you all so much for stopping by, and I hope you enjoy your stay. And welcome back to the Marvel Studios playlist. As some of you know already, I am in the process of reviewing every single MCU film, and I'm having a great time doing it. I just reviewed Iron Man 2, so feel free to check that video out if you haven't already. And I'm chugging right along through Phase 1, because today's subject is Thor. Here we go, guys. We are getting introduced to, I'm not gonna lie to you, my favorite character in this whole universe. The God of Thunder himself. Here, he's played by the masterful Chris Hemsworth. And Thor is the imminent heir to the throne of Asgard from his aging father Odin, played by Anthony Hopkins. However, on the day that he's to be crowned, Thor reacts with brutality when the god's enemies, the Frost Giants, enter the palace in violation of their treaty. As punishment, Odin banishes Thor to another realm, the planet Earth. While his younger brother Loki, played by Tom Hiddleston, plots mischief in Asgard, Thor, now stripped of his powers, faces his greatest threat head-on. And this is your friendly reminder, just in case you have not seen the first Thor film up to this point, this review will contain mild to moderate spoilers. You've been fairly warned. So to be completely honest with you guys, I know this sounds completely crazy, but I was pretty hyped to rewatch this film, because it's been a long time since I have. I wasn't ultra hyped to check this one out in theaters, and I honestly don't even remember if I did watch this in theaters. 2011, that was around the time I was in middle school. Long time ago. But ever since I first watched this film, and especially as these movies kept building one on top of the other, and as this universe has grown more and more vast into the deepest depths of the galaxy, Thor has legitimately become my favorite character in this universe. He is just so riddled with legends and lore and badassery, and it's just... oh, it's so cool. And I honestly feel like a big reason why this character works so well in these movies is the casting. I think the studio really hit the jackpot in selecting Chris Hemsworth to play Thor. I mean, raise your hand down in the comments below if you guys think this is perfect casting. Congratulations, because if you did raise your hand, you're correct! And Chris Hemsworth just brings so much charm to this film that sorely needed it. Because let's face it, on paper, this is a weird-ass concept. And Hemsworth sold every little moment and every little aspect of this story perfectly. And this film is just an early taste of just how good of a performer he is in general. Because this is a wide range of stuff that he gets to explore with this first movie. I mean, he's the chosen successor. He's the exile. He's the outcast. He's trying to fit into this realm on Earth. He's the defender of the Earth. He's an ally. He's honorable. He's charming. He just has all the tools. And he's truly incredible in this first film. He has such a likable presence. He is so funny, and once he starts wielding that hammer especially, badass personified. And granted, there's not tons of action in this film compared to, say, the Iron Man films. From what I could tell on this rewatch, this film was certainly more dialogue driven, but just these special effects and the CGI, especially on Asgard, which looks amazing. All of that melding together with these fight scenes just looks so awesome. And speaking of awesome, well, the film itself looks incredible. This was actually directed by Kenneth Branagh, who's someone I've already talked a little bit about on the channel as being multi-talented. He's a modern-day Sir Laurence Olivier, very well-versed in Shakespeare especially. So he knows what he's doing when it comes to epic stories like this. And just look at these wide shots. Look at the tremendous angles. Look at the cinematography. Look at the scope of Asgard, guys. It's just huge. Branagh really got the gigantic atmosphere of Asgard and of this film in general. He got all of that just right. I mean, even when the film goes down to Earth in this small town, it all looks and feels so epic. And I feel like Branagh deserves all the credit in the world for making this as good as it was. I mean, even though this first Thor film is just shy under 2 hours, it technically doesn't qualify in the way that Braveheart qualifies as an epic, but I think you get my point. Branagh makes this film look and feel so epic. And you know what else I love about this film? film, the whole storyline on Asgard, I think this stuff is really, really cool. I mean, yeah, it's your more traditional family drama, all centered around royalty and who the rightful heir is. Thor is the firstborn son, but his younger brother Loki, played by Tom Hiddleston, also feels like he has the right to the throne. And Odin, played by the genius Anthony Hopkins, is all about keeping the tradition. But you know, Thor gets too impulsive and he gets into messes that are too big for him to clean up by himself. And Odin exiles him from that point. And Loki basically usurps the throne from his brother and from his father. And voila, you have traditional Shakespearean family drama almost. Usurp. That's a common Shakespeare trope. Kenneth Branagh. Oh, I see the connection. But in all seriousness, guys, the way this story is presented to us, this may sound like an out-of-the-box comparison, but this all feels like almost like a cosmic Game of Thrones in a way. You know, except without the graphic violence or the R-rated isms. I mean, all this stuff on Asgard is just really great. And Anthony Hopkins, once again, he was already a legend when he was cast as Odin, but he just proves once again here why he's such a genius at his craft. And you also have the super underrated Idris Elba in this film as Heimdall, such a cool character. His stock would only rise from this point as well. Now, Tom Hiddleston as Loki does have his fun moments in the first film, but I'll admit, it does kind of take a while for him to get to the Loki that we all know and love these days. Especially the one that's getting his own Disney Plus series this summer, which, side note, is going to be the best show on Disney Plus released in 2021. Calling it, but I would say that he doesn't truly become who we know Loki to be until the climax of this film, at the very earliest. And he would obviously definitely grow so much more with this role after this, but that's not to say he's bad in the film. He's very good. Now, you know by this point, I love all this stuff on Asgard. I would say the first act and the third act are my favorite parts of the first Thor. But yeah, okay, here we go. This is my main problem with the film. All this damn stuff on Earth, man. I feel like this first Thor film didn't have as good of a grasp of what it wanted to be as it thought it did. In a sense, Thor is trying to be not one, not two, but three different films. I mean, you have this tense family drama that I was just talking about in this weird cosmic kingdom. And then you have this comedic fish out of water romp on Earth. And then you bring the best of both worlds together with this big, gigantic comic book action thriller. And again, I keep saying this in my reviews, guys, so I'm sorry I sound like a broken record. The key is simplicity. I would say here, just pick one and run with it. And I think they chose the wrong one here, guys. I really wanted more time on Asgard. That's kind of what I wanted this whole film to be, honestly. It's not that the stuff on Earth is bad. I still have some fun watching it. I mean, Natalie Portman as Jane Foster, Stellan Skarsgard as Dr. Selvig, these are really good performers, and they're all doing some really great work here. Also, Darcy, side note, I forgot how funny she was. And of course, you have to add on that really fun Stan Lee cameo to those Earth characters. But my issue with this is kind of twofold. First of all, these characters on Earth are not nearly as interesting as I would like them to be. And secondly, God, how do I put this? So back in 2011, right? A lot of comic book movies before 2011 felt that the best way for us as moviegoers to get behind these characters was to literally bring them down to Earth. This first Thor film takes that comment to heart, but it does so literally. Like, look at this character design real quick, guys, okay? Imagine if this character just plunged down to the Earth's surface right now, at this very moment, in January 2021. Imagine if he crash landed on Earth. This is the God of Thunder. Do you think that would bode well for him and or for us, for that matter? Probably not. I mean, for all intents and purposes, he really shouldn't be at a coffee shop chucking the mugs down to demand another. He really shouldn't be going to a pet store demanding a horse from the clerk to go find his hammer. I mean, the way Chris Hemsworth sells this is super entertaining, and it's fun to laugh at. He does fit in the fish out of water dynamic, and I feel like even he knows how silly this is, and he kind of embraces it, I feel. I don't know, this stuff on Earth with Thor really just didn't intrigue me as the integral storyline. And it's a pretty big one also, which unfortunately works to the film's detriment. I personally really wanted more stuff on Asgard. I mean, at least just do the post-credits sequence on Earth if you had to do that. I mean, I just wish this whole movie was on Asgard, guys, but despite a slightly slightly discombobulated narrative. This first Thor movie is a lot more fun than I remembered. I'm gonna give Thor a B. I know, I just trashed this overall narrative, but in my personal opinion, guys, this is one of the more underrated films in this whole universe. Yeah, of course, given the character, the stuff on Earth is really strange, and it does feel out of place. But again, Chris Hemsworth just makes that stuff work, and it's a lot more fun than it had any right being. I think if you're not a fan of this movie, that's totally fine. But I would consider at least giving it another shot because I found a lot to enjoy with this one. But what do you guys think? Have you guys seen this Thor movie? Do you enjoy it? Do you not? What do you guys think is the most underrated MCU film so far? I'd love to discuss all of those thoughts and then some all down in the comments there. If you guys are enjoying this content, if you guys want a place to continue discussing cinema and all things entertainment with me, this channel I think may be the one for you. So if you guys are new here or if you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below as hard as you possibly can, because you guys will be the first ones to know anytime I upload a new video over here. It's also free, guys. It really does help out the channel. It helps me out. And hey, if you guys liked this video, also, please be sure to leave a thumbs up on your way out. I'd greatly appreciate that. And as per, look out for more exciting content hitting this channel very, very soon. Man, I just realized we are breezing through phase 1 in this series. And we're already going to be going way back in time, because coming up next, we are looking at Captain America: The First Avenger. So keep an eye out for that one. I'll try to have that review out to you guys around this time next week, because this is a big weekend for brand new movies in 2021, as well as new content over here on the channel. So stay tuned for all of that as well. You guys are awesome. Thank you again for all of your continued support up to this point. With all that being said, back talk, commence.